Hello there, and welcome to Woo Woo's workshop. Today, I'm out in the shop. I got a ignition coil part here from Johnson Evinrude. It is a factory part. It's a coil alignment system for 1974 9.9 Johnson. So I've tested the coils and one of them come up bad. So this part number is 0502880. And I picked this up from Wholesale Marine. There's a few different places, but what I'm gonna do is go through a little assembly on the bench before I get over to the motor and put it together. So I'll start with a little dielectric grease that I've been taught to put a little bit of this on as you're putting these things together. You don't need a whole lot, but put a little on the end of the actual wire. I did measure this wire to see if it will fit. It came as a whole kit, so and I'm going to put a little bit right on the very end of this. This is a threaded in piece. It's going to thread in. You'll notice the end of the other end of the wire, I cut a little bit off and left just the coil sticking out, the copper coil, and I'll explain that when I put it in. That's a tip that I got from old Johnny Rude. So this should thread in. Now I am putting some pressure on this. I know I have a heater in the background, but it's the middle of January and I'm south of Boston by about 20 miles, so a little cold in this area. I'm just twisting this in, and if I get this to make a good contact, I will test this on the bench before I go to put it in the motor. So that should about do it. So I have a couple things here I can test. I do have a Fluke 179 True RMS multimeter. So this is a nice little handy tool that I'm learning to use. I've had this for years, but I'm just now trying to figure it out. So I'll put this on ohms, and I'm gonna try to put it so, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but I will. I'm going to test the coil that I just picked up. So right away it's telling me voltage is going through these two wires. I'm going to put it on one side of the coil and I'll put it into the other side. And right away I'm getting voltage going through that. So that's a good thing. So now the other part I'm going to test is up here. I got a wire that's gonna tell me at 1200. There's a lot of voltage coming through there. So I know this is working fine, and I just like to test before I'm learning to test things as you go through the steps. So the next step will be to put a little clip on this. So what I'm going to do here is basically take off these gloves, give myself a little chance with some grip. So I'll put a little bit of dielectric right on the top of this. If you can see that, just a little bit, not a whole lot, and then I'll put some more as I go through. So this is just a pinch piece. What I'd like to do is get it close to that coil that's sticking out. So hopefully, if you bear with me, I'll make this work. And I'll go up against the side here, push that right in. And see, I got my nephew, who is my brother Ed's son. Ironically, he's getting into Well, he's been quite involved with marine electronics. So it's been 4 years now since my brother Ed passed away. So I'm reaching out to my nephew, see if he'll give me a little guidance with all this marine electronics. And I show him this video that I'm doing to honor his father. So again, I'm squeezing that down. I have this pushed right up against that, the metal right there. So now I'll take a little more of that dielectric. Don't need a whole lot, but enough to dissipate any moisture. And another thing I learned from a few people is these boots. But one side for the plug is the wider side, smaller side is where this goes in. So I've been taught by some kind people. I said old Johnny Rude, one of them. T. Mike's, it's another good guy. Brendan's Garage, Brandon, I'm sorry. And a few others that I've been watching the last couple of years. I've been doing this for maybe about 7 or 8 years. So I'm gonna put a little carburetor cleaner in there to try to loosen up the spot here. And see if I can push that right through. Just like they told me it would work. And now I can see down in here that that's, hopefully you can see it too. It's right in the coil there, right where I should be able to hook up to the plugs. And the next thing I'm going to do is turn on this voltage meter again, just to test that wire as I pushed and pulled on it. I'm hoping I didn't pull anything apart, but I just want to check, make sure that I have the voltage that I'm supposed to have. So I'll put this two together, 1, 2, and I'm at the same number, 1210. So that's telling me things have worked. So I'm gonna get this set up on this bench over here. Give me a minute, I'll see if I can pause this, turn it back on. Okay, so I'm back. And I said I'm over here at a 9.9 1974 Johnson. Picked it up at a AOMC run down in Connecticut last summer. I managed to meet up with a few people, and one of them had a number of motors he was willing to let go of them. So basically, I gave him $25 for a few motors, and he was happy that I could haul them away. I'm just gonna pull this off. I did test all the wires. I marked which ones, everything was good except for this lower coil. I'm gonna pull this out. This is a 3/8 bolt. So hopefully you can hear me fine. I'm gonna put that there, and this is the old piece here. That boot is probably still good, but the rest of it might be no good. I'll come in here with the new coil and just put it back the way I took it off. I got a couple connections right here, and I'll put them right on top of this. One goes this way, one goes that way. Put the bolt through. Not sure if you can see any of this, but hopefully you will. And then I'm going to get my fingers from being unstuck. And just put that into there like that. Try to get it started first with your fingers. All right, get things lined up. The next part of this, once I get all the juice running, I'll figure out how to take this carburetor all apart. Tune that up. And we got a couple wires here. I'm snugging that up. And I paid a little extra to get this simple connection here. But at this point, I'm still working on my electrical skills. So I said I'm going to reach out to my nephew and see if he'll help me do a couple of these things myself instead of paying for this type of connection. That's gonna take care of that. So I'm gonna come back with this voltage meter. I'll hold that in place while I tighten it up. I don't believe there's any torque specifications for this, but I can look it up. So I'll take my voltage meter, hang in here if I can, and maybe we can both see it, but I'm not sure. I can leave it there or leave it up top there. Right now, like I said, I'll put that together. I know I got juice going through my cables. So we can put one on here and one coming through the end of my spark plug that I just attached, and see what type of numbers come up there. So again, we're in the 12.14 range, so you know that's good. I'm going to go to my top coil, do the same thing. Just having a hard time holding it steady, but basically about the same reading, so I'm happy to see that. And then there is another reading up here that goes from a driver coil that's coming out, so I'm just going to hit both sides of this driver coil and see what comes up here. So again, we're sending juice from the driver coil to these coils, and then that creates a spark. So that's it for this afternoon. Again, I want to say thank you. If you like what you're seeing, please, I'm doing this to honor my brother Ed, and stay tuned. I'll give you the full details on Ed. Woo Woo got his name. All right, thank you. Take care.